Jupiter and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
Opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest-running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to WSTU 1450, Treasure Coast Forum. I'm Amira, and I'm here with Mr. Frank Metzapelli.
Yes, it tickles me the way you do that. Thank you, Amira, for that. And so as we're going on air, we happen to glance at the TV.
There's
here
an earthquake, 4.4 on the Richter scale.
4.0, I think.
4.0 on the Richter scale.
Yeah. Off the Florida coast.
Which coast? Like west, east?
It didn't say. I mean, because there's no audio, so we're just.
Have you ever had an earthquake here before?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, our because we are basically on a coral shelf.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty stable.
Yeah.
So the earthquake.
I'm pretty sure most people are going to say it's climate change.
Climate change, of course.
Yeah.
Every day is climate change since the world was formed 4.5 billion years ago.
Yeah.
Every day is climate change. It's changing every day.
We just don't like change. That's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's why it must be stopped. And I know that AOC is going to get it done.
Get her done. Well, if you don't want to see change, just take a picture of it and then stare at the picture, and then nothing will change.
Wow.
There it is.
Except maybe like your mental state.
Well, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, lots of wacky things going on in the world today. So what do you want to talk about? We'll start off with Amira's list.
Oh, okay. We could talk about Tucker Carlson in Russia.
Okay.
And the Apple Vision Pro, which is absolutely everywhere.
Okay. All right.
So you can toss a coin.
Okay. I'm ready when you are. So
no, I mean, toss a coin. It's like, what are you going to talk about first? I don't know what to talk about first. I'm indecisive.
Well, you are. All right. Well, let's talk about Tucker.
Oh, yeah, because he's there.
I already have him up on my screen. Yeah.
So, guys, Tucker Carlson has been approved to have a in-person interview with Vladimir Putin in Moscow.
He's already had the interview.
Oh, he's already had it?
It took about an hour. And he's already left Moscow.
When did it happen? Yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did they televise it?
Not yet. It'll be released on Tucker Carlson's.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own website.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker Carlson.
Okay. Has it been announced when it's going to be released?
No, soon. Mm-hmm. They just say soon. And then it'll also be on Twitter or X. Mm-hmm. So it'll be.
I call it Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Every time I see X, I feel like it's the black market or some very suspicious website.
Right. Well, I have the same reservations. I feel like I need to identify which X we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Right. I start thinking it's that X and not Twitter.
Right.
I don't know why Elon Musk changed it to X.
He likes the letter X. He likes the sound.
Oh, just like his son. He named his son after his Wi-Fi password or something.
Right. And his
a plane.
Space X.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes.
That's cool. But
yes.
So I'm pretty sure he likes having ex-girlfriends too, because I don't think anyone's going to stay with a guy who renames Twitter as X.
I read an article recently. I mean, I know we've devolved now and talking about
no, let's keep going.
I read an article about he had twins with one of the ladies that worked for him.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, he fathered the twins, but Was it
an experiment?
There were
an experiment.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, he's an advocate for people that are of higher intellect, people like yourself, thank you. People of high intellectual standing to have children.
Procreate. Ew.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
I
his.
remember there was this Sherlock movie that came out in the 70s called The Private Lives of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
And it was really funny. And there was this one woman
We
who
really
was
are
like,
digressing.
yeah. No, there was this one woman, right? And she wanted to she thought she was so smart and she wanted to get a guy who would give her like the most genius kid. But she tried to go to Tchaikovsky, but then he was gay and turned her down. Then she went to another guy and then he turned her down because he was married. And then she went to Sherlock. And then, of course, he turned her down and lied to her and said that he was gay for Watson.
Oh, ew.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's crazy. I know people like that, though.
So,
That's
but
insane.
he didn't have relations with her. They did it
The science experimental way.
Yes,
The scientific one.
They did insemination.
Yikes.
So yes.
So is he offering child support? I mean, he's a
I
billionaire.
don't know what their arrangement is, but the gist of the story has more to do that he's such a big advocate of procreation and that we're not making enough people to replace ourselves, except for India. India is the only,
I know. There's a lot of people.
that's an outlier, but the all the developing countries, not so much.
Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, there's already plenty of idiots in the world. I mean,
Right. Well, that's why they want to have
smart
intelligent
people, but also you believe smartness comes from intelligence.
So that's why
I mean, genetics.
There must be a genetic component. Yeah,
maybe a little bit. I still agree with nurture is a huge part of it. I still think in the nature versus nurture debate. I don't know why they keep saying nature versus nurture. Everything has to be this or that.
Right, binary.
With the human race.
Right,
I know. I think it's this and that. So
and the whole thing about when I was a kid growing up, we heard about the Neanderthal.
Yeah.
They were ape-like, lower element of subhuman creatures. Turns out maybe not so much. In fact, most humans today have some Neanderthal DNA. So apparently
we all have stupid.
Apparently they weren't so stupid and they were misidentified, let's just say, because I think certain prejudices were involved in because this is the early 1900s when they first came up with the notion about Neanderthals, right? But so I think there was some pre-thinking, well, they couldn't possibly be as smart as we are, and they died off because they couldn't compete with us. Turns out that really wasn't the case. I think they just kind of mated with with our human race enough to where they just kind of got absorbed into where we're at. Oh, okay, cool. You follow with
that? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, but I guess the whole argument is that what you're told is not necessarily the whole story.
Yeah,
it's just somebody's notion.
Yeah.
And because they are a scholarly
kind of like apocryphals.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for all y'all who don't know don't know what apocryphal is, it's kind of like a story that they'll come up with, maybe a history story or anecdote that they just tell people to teach a lesson, but it didn't happen.
Right.
Like George Washington and the cherry tree.
Right. We got a caller, and then we're going to go to a little snippet of Tucker. So, all right, come on. All right, here we go. All right, you're on the air, caller.
Hello, Frank.
Hey.
Hello, Mia.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So, yeah, school is like brainwashing. You can be brainwashed good or brainwashed bad.
Correct.
Yeah, you have to use common sense and ask your mom and dad, is this really true?
Right. Yeah.
I have to tell you, both of you, this is actually happened today. I went to the surgery center. Every 5 years, people should do this when you get older. And so I'm checking in, and I'm looking at this sign at the desk that I'm sitting at. And the lady that was doing the paperwork was about my age, too. And it said, male, female, or other.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Other.
I
know. I pointed it out, and I was kind of halfway hysterical in laughter.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm really glad my dad not around to see that. And
Right.
she said, you got that right, you know.
Right.
And I said, my mom as well. And she said, absolutely.
Right. Jeez.
Male, female. I
It's
feel
okay.
like
Maybe
a
they were
willow
expecting
today.
ET to get surgery again.
Well, I think, and
No, it was just. You're going to have to do this eventually, young lady. So it's a colon checkup.
mm, oh
And
yeah.
I have to report to our listening audience,
Mhm.
clean. I was fine. Yay.
Yay. Very good.
Yay.
All right.
And I found out today, I told you, Frank, I'm cancer free
Yes.
2 times.
Yes.
Yay. Yay.
That's
So I'm
That's
going to
all
live for
great
another 10
news.
years, young lady. So
all right. You
if you
renewed
want to
your
run for
contract.
vice president, I'll vote for you.
Okay. Cool.
You
Thanks.
can't be president, you know?
No.
I know. But maybe you could help out right now. Just get a hold of, whoever and say, I'll be his advisor for a while.
Yeah. How about a press secretary? That'd be a good one.
And that would be good.
Yeah.
And you're heterosexual, I'm sure, because you were talking about ding dongs.
Yeah.
I remember everything
You
I'm
No.
learning from the young lady.
Yeah.
Mortified.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do the ding dong song. You
Oh
know?
no, let's not.
No, we're not doing that.
Let's
I
not.
swear, Frank, I'll be good if you bring me back to the radio. This is Palm City Charlie. I'll be good. I promise.
Okay.
All right, guys, I'll let you go and
All right,
enjoy your show.
Thanks a lot.
That rhymes. I'll let you go and I'll enjoy your show.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Talk to
buddy.
you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank God my mom doesn't listen to
Right.
this show. Oh my
Right.
God.
Woo! All right. So let's hear from Tucker Carlson. He is reporting. This is a little new, and this is a 4-minute segment, and I'm only taking a minute out of it
Mhm.
that we'll listen to. And he is reporting, I think, from a balcony somewhere in Moscow, and this is prior to his interview with Putin. So, but he helps set the stage.
Long-term effects are even more profound. This war has utterly reshaped the global military and trade alliances, and the sanctions that followed have as well. And in total, they have upended the world economy. The post-World War II economic order, the system that guaranteed prosperity in the West for more than 80 years, is coming apart very fast, and along with it, the dominance of the US dollar. These are not small changes. They are history-altering developments. They will define the lives of our grandchildren. Most of the world understands this perfectly well. They can see it. Ask anyone in Asia or the Middle East what the future looks like. And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth. Their media outlets are corrupt. They lie to their readers and viewers. And they do that mostly by omission. For example, since the day the war in Ukraine began, American media outlets have spoken to scores of people from Ukraine, and they have done scores of interviews with Ukrainian President Zelensky. We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in Eastern Europe and pay for it. That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. At the same time, our politicians and media outlets have been doing this, promoting a foreign leader like he's a new consumer brand. Not a single Western journalist has bothered to interview the president of the other country involved in this conflict, Vladimir Putin.
All right. So he helps to set the stage.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? And why?
I think that is true journalism to go on both sides.
Absolutely. You cannot have a story with one side.
Yeah, and just because we disagree with the other side and kind of hate the other side and know the other side is kind of evil, we should still interview the other side.
We need to at least hear from them, and that would codify our understanding.
Otherwise, we'd be just as bad as Putin. That he censoring him while he's censoring us.
Right.
I mean, what are we trying to be? Just like him.
Right.
So I totally get that. Now, I read CNN articles about this, so I didn't read anything from the right because that's how I think. I think like the right, so that's why I see the news through the left and then try to find a way to see if the right is still right.
Well,
And every single time
yes.
it's right. Every single time.
Well, yes,
Mhm.
and like you, when I was in high school, I would
Mhm.
read periodicals because
Oh yeah, back
right,
in the day.
right. So Time Magazine,
Mhm.
Newsweek, U.S. News and
I
World
have to pay
Report.
money for the New York Times.
Right,
I can't see online articles in the New York Times at all.
right, yeah, or yeah, Times Magazine, and I think
Mhm.
I don't know if they're related to New York Times or not, but they may be. They
Mhm.
may be part of that group. But yeah, and so I noticed early on in reading, of course, by back then they were telling stories about the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
and and okay, but they were writing in an editorial form. And this is on the news pages, not in the back of the periodical where
Mhm.
editorials are posted. So I found myself more than once reading and reading, and I understand what editorial sounds like, and I understand what fact-based dot,
Mhm.
information, is how that is portrayed. So I stopped taking the subscriptions rather for those periodicals because I don't want to support that. But
Mhm.
I would go to the library and read the opposing perspectives like you, so that it would either give me a chance to kind of rethink my positions or validate them,
Mhm. Yeah. So CNN, what they were saying is that they were absolutely appalled by what Tucker Carlson is doing because they
Appalling,
immediately
appalling.
accuse him
Right.
and the right and Trump of being Putin sympathizers and that they hate Ukraine and that Putin and the right are teaming up together to try to find a way to hack Trump back into office so that he can allow Putin to
Right.
do whatever the heck he wants,
Right.
which is completely opposite to what's going on. And by the way, the sources that they use were all people who worked at Russian embassies, who worked in other places, who could easily have their guns, Russian guns pointed at their heads to say that stuff,
Mhm.
easily be under the influence of Russia. So I got a feeling that like Russia wants America to think that Russia is pro Trump so that Americans become anti Trump and keep Biden there so Russia can do whatever the heck they want. That's what it looks like. So whatever
Yeah.
is going on the left, Russia's really happy about it.
Well, I'm going to reserve all my judgment until I
Mhm.
actually see the interview. I hope
Yeah.
that Tucker Carlson asks him about the reporter that's being unjustly
Oh
held
yeah.
in captivity.
Mhm.
So I think that would assuage a lot of fears about people that are all the fear mongering that's going on about him being there too. So,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to ask a question directly to a world leader and get a direct answer. And hopefully he gets a
Mhm.
direct answer, not a, political dance around move.
Who knows? I mean,
Right.
Putin is like he's upped the game with censorship within the last couple years since
Right.
the war.
Right.
Like I remember I read stuff about back in the day during the Soviet Union
Mm.
how people would write Samizdat, which means self-published, which was against Tamzidat, which was government published. So basically it was a bunch of books and stuff that they would find ways to smuggle and illegally use from the West so it wouldn't be, they won't get arrested and stuff. And then
Mhm.
people wrote in pseudonyms so they wouldn't get arrested by the police, taken by the police. Journalists, if they didn't report anything approved by the Kremlin, they would be cut off completely.
Oof.
And then people they used to use on vinyls, they used to do x-rays on them to get information, to get audio. They used to x-ray on discs and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then there were radio stations, special frequencies. So nowadays the way people are fighting censorship in Russia is accommodated to the technologies that we have now. So Twitter and I mean Twitter, now X, and other social media platforms like Facebook have created their own private type of search page
Mhm.
type of thing where it's the frequencies are more limited, they're more private so you can get on them. They've also come up with more innovative, more stronger VPNs so people can digitally look at stuff and stay connected with the West. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And just like back in the Soviet Union, the West is making radio stations again to fit those frequencies so people can listen in. Which
Yeah,
is,
Radio Free Europe.
stuff
Yes.
like that.
Yep. Well, okay. So the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
Before we go to break, we've got about 4 minutes. So,
Mhm.
and we can talk about this a little bit more on the other side of the break. But the Supreme Court heard arguments today about the Colorado Supreme Court pulling Trump's name off the primary ballot.
They're the only state that's done that, correct?
No,
No, there's
Maine.
like one more.
I think Maine has done it as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And they followed. So as you know, they said, "Well, gee, Colorado got away with it. Maybe we should try that." And anyways, so
these are states with less electoral votes, so really,
but what it does is
it is
we're,
bad.
We're
though.
talking about setting precedents. So this has got more to do
anti-democracy. It's very anti-democratic,
right? Because they disenfranchise people's and individuals
just because he might have done something.
Correct. Which brings me to a movie that was. Remember when the movie came out? 2002.
Oh,
So 22 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise did a movie called Minority Report.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, which was based on a story written by a
Dude
writer
from 1910.
And so it's loosely based upon his novel.
I wonder what's his novel called?
I'll have to Google it.
Is it Minority Report, Majority Report?
I don't think so. I think it was a whole different name. But anyways, Minority. So what's going on reminds me of the Minority Report, because in the movie, people that had precognition had of bad events were authorized to take out the bad guy.
It was actually called the Minority Report.
It was, and the guy's name was Philip Dick.
Yeah, and it says 1956, not 1910.
Oh, okay, 56. But okay, all right, okay, 1956. I must have misread.
Oh, it was directed by Spielberg?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought I've seen every single one of his movies. I even
Apparently
watched The Fablemans that everyone forgot about.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to listen to just a little snippet from the movie.
You want them to be and not as they are.
Answer my question. Does Lamar Burgess know about the Minority Report?
Yes, of course, he knew. But at the time, we both felt that their existence was an insignificant variable.
Insignificant to you, maybe. But what about those people that I put away with alternate futures? My God, if the country knew there was a chance.
The system would collapse.
All right. So yeah, you got to see the movie if you haven't already. But in the movie, they were basically suggesting that they were authorized to take out bad guys
before they committed the crime.
So pre-crime.
Yeah.
Pre-crime. And that's why the individuals that have this psychic capabilities, they were called precognitions.
How do they know it's just lies so that people can just make a hit list?
Well, apparently they were fairly successful. But anyways, there's a deeper element to the movie, and you got to see it.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna.
I have so many questions.
Yes.
Like, how do they justify what if the dude decided to kill someone but then changed his mind last minute? Then he never committed a crime anyway. So
well, that's why you have to see the movie.
Okay.
I can't answer that. I don't want to answer that. I don't want to spoil the movie.
Okay.
All right. So, but anyways, so it's kind of loosely, I see there's some symmetry between these two, the Supreme Court case.
Condemning a man before he should be condemned.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yes. So hopefully you see it. But I just think that it's like, wow, I think they dealt with that in a movie and solved this problem.
Everything is in the movies. Movies tell more truth than reality.
Well, they give us a chance to take a glimpse. I mean, that's what I loved about Star Trek, especially the original series, because the science fiction writers, some of the really good writers, would use the science fiction formula to tell a story and give us a chance to kind of look at ourselves from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I like that. All right. So we are going to take our regulation timeout. And we'll be right back. So please stick with us. We have much more to cover, news and information. We're back. You're listening to Treasure Coast Forum. And so while we were on break, you checked the
Richter scale thing. So
Yes. Mhm.
on the news that we saw before we started the show, it said 4.0 Wellington, East Coast earthquake in Florida.
Mhm.
TikTok says 6.4. We
Mhm.
saw a clip. I don't know how intense it is, but we saw everything fall off shelves. In
Yeah, and that was in
convenience store.
Wellington, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So if the Earth moved for you today, it was real. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
So that's wasn't climate change. It was just
Or it wasn't
Earth.
liquor either.
No, that's right. But it happens. Not so much. We're on a pretty stable.
Mother Nature's having a moment.
Right. Right.
She can have moments.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? On this date in history, a certain place of universal study in 1693 saw the birth of the College of William and Mary, one of the nation's oldest colleges, at the request of Virginia colonists. King William III and Queen Mary II granted the charter that established a certain place of universal study, a perpetual college of divinity, philosophy, languages, and the good arts and sciences to be supported and maintained in all time coming.
So that's the first college in America.
It's just William and Mary.
Mhm.
The Americans have long recognized the importance of strong university system. By the time of our nation's founding, a handful of institutions and higher learning had already been established. The following are the oldest U.S. colleges, and with the year in which each institution became a bachelor's degree granting institution. The very first one is Cambridge, okay, in Massachusetts. That was 1636.
Yikes.
Yeah. William and Mary, again on this date in 1693. Yale in New Haven, Connecticut, 1701. And Princeton in New Jersey was 1746. And New York City, New York, Columbia University, 1754. The University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia was 1757. And in
All on the same day? Like the same date?
No,
But like different years, but the
no,
same.
no, all different days.
So then why
Just-
usually this almanac
are-
talks about what happened today?
Right. So this happens. These are just the most
When
common-
did Harvard happen?
Harvard was the first one, 1736.
Oh, okay.
And but not on this day. The only one was on this date was William and Mary
Okay.
in Williamsburg, Virginia. And see Rutgers in New Jersey in 1766, and Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire was created in 1769. So let's see now. In 1870, on this day, the 15th Amendment granting voting rights regardless of race was ratified on this date in 1870.
Dope.
Yep. And in 1910, on this date, the Boy Scouts of America was founded in Washington, D.C. And in 1922, President William J. Harding had the very first radio installed in the White House.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, he probably tuned in WSTU. And in 1971, the NASDAQ, the world's first electronic stock market, began operation on this date in 1971. Very cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yep. And lastly, 1978, on this date, Senate debates are broadcast on the radio for the very first time. So 2 items on this date happen with radio involved.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe like 100 years from now, it'll be
Since
like,
I'm a
on
radio
this date,
guy.
Amira talked about ding dongs on WSTU.
Jeez.
On this date.
Oh my God. You're killing me. You're killing me. All right. So
Apple Vision Pro
let's talk about
was
it.
released like last week. Soon as it was released, it flew off the shelves. It's
Mhm.
$4,000, which
Oh.
it's very pricey.
And it flew off the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Is it because of the
Literally.
earthquake?
Maybe. Maybe. Mother Nature, that was her moment.
Yeah. All
She
right.
went crazy because
Yeah.
basically Apple is saying that this might replace the iPhone in 10 years or something. It's basically a headset. It's not VR, it's AR. So it's not virtual reality, it's augmented reality, which means when you wear the headset, you still see reality, albeit in like 780p instead of, actual like 25K.
HD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full HD.
Yeah, so it's like 780p. It's better than any other headset around with the
Okay.
quality of what you see. And then basically you can do everything you do on your phone or your MacBook in your face, like Tony Stark and Iron Man, where all the screens are floating around him. It's like that, except you need a headset, and it looks humongous. It's very sleek looking though, but it has a 2-hour battery life unless you plug it into the wall. So you can only really walk around. People go in the subways with it. It's insane, and they just walk around. And so far, it hasn't glitched, but if it glitched, if it froze all of a sudden and had the loading screen and you were walking down the stairs, it would not go well.
Yeah.
Like imagine reality just freezes and you keep going down. That's not going to go well. But so there are a couple of concerns. Another thing that I found interesting that a guy experimented with, because there's this one guy who's like completely unfiltered whenever he reviews stuff on YouTube. He went in the subway, right? Not waiting next to the train, but he went in the train.
Right.
As soon as the train started moving, none of the apps he could access because the motion tracking could not work because it was moving too fast. So that's a con. You can't use it while a train is moving. You could maybe use it on a plane. I haven't seen if it's been used on a plane because a plane is more stable. But the motion tracking is insane. So you could literally basically wherever you move, there's no buttons for anything. There's no controller with it. You just use your hands. Like you touch the air in front of you and you can access all your apps. You can text people, you can watch videos, everything. Zoom in, out with your fingers.
Wow.
And it's very responsive, I heard. Like I thought maybe, it might glitch, it might not work all the time, but it's very responsive, which is pretty cool. That I found very impressive. Another thing that you can also do with it is that you can also make it virtual reality if you want. So you could be like, I want to watch YouTube in the desert, or then all of a sudden you can program it to be like the desert. However, I only want to be in the desert while I'm sitting in my desk. So the Apple tracker, motion tracker, if you get up from your desk and you move, all of a sudden the desert disappears. You can see your surroundings and walk around your house again, which is really cool. And then you can go back to the desert as soon as you sit back at your desk without a finger. And then especially if you have a MacBook computer, you can just look at the MacBook while you're wearing the headset, use your finger and do like use the force like in Star Wars, and the MacBook screen will instantly appear into your headset, and then it can follow you around with the motion tracker, which I found crazy. No buttons at all, nothing. It's just let me touch this and it's there. Kind of reminds me of that story about that little baby who's so obsessed with the iPad that when she saw the butterfly outside a window, she moved her fingers because she tried to zoom in on the butterfly, but there was no screen. She thought reality was a screen. She was in the Matrix. But yeah, literally.
How sad. I mean,
it's a little crazy.
Scary and sad all at the same time, I think.
Technology is great. This headset, I think, would be cool if you wanted to watch movies, but you couldn't really afford a big giant TV screen. So you just wear this and it could be huge. Or it could be cool if you're just at home, but I would never take it out in public and walk around the streets. Like there are people skateboarding with this on. I'm like, oh my God, absolutely not. And I feel like technology, even though everyone's like, oh, it's going to connect you with the rest of the world, it can. But when you misuse it and when you become overly reliant on it, it kind of takes you away from the world. And for me as a Gen Z kid, I was the first generation born straight out with a screen in my hand at the age of 5 or 4, right? My iPhone is like an appendage. I don't know how I can explain this to you. But literally, it's a body part. I know where it is. I feel it when it's away from me. I know where it is. Like, if I'm not with it, there'll be a second where I will panic and be like, where is it? Of course, after a few minutes, if I know it's in my room, I'm like, okay, I'll sit down. I'll leave it there. But it's still in the back of my mind that I'm away from it. I'm separated from me.
Yeah.
So you feel it. It's crazy. It's like an arm and a leg right there. So I can't imagine actually wearing it on my face everywhere. That's when it becomes way too real.
Do you think that'll be reduced down to wearing maybe contact lenses?
Contact lenses, maybe an implant in your brain. That's what I'm worried about the most. Probably with like Elon Musk Neuralink. That'll happen, but oh my gosh, it's a little out of hand. Especially AI is great. I use ChatGPT all the time now for fun and for research. I know sometimes it's kind of with research, but you could double check. It's basically a search engine that dumps everything there. So you can ask, hey, ChatGPT, why did you say this wrong stuff? Where'd you get it from? It's like Wikipedia. And I'm like, that makes sense. So at least it tells me where it went wrong. And then also with ChatGPT, it's great for ideas, like especially with IB internal assessment prompts. Like I want to try to word something better. It can do that for me. So that's great. But then there's the AI girlfriends and the AI boyfriends.
Ew.
I know, like you're such a loser that you have to pay a company a monthly subscription to date a 2-dimensional character.
Yeah, not good.
That isn't capable of like actual coherent thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's insane. You can go online. There was this guy got paid this I don't know what it's called, Replica, I think that's the app, subscription for it to get like an AI girlfriend. Literally on the phone, he made a dummy and he taped the phone on the dummy and he literally like puts his arm around it. It's like, this is my girlfriend.
No.
Yikes. That's insane. Like the mental health problems. There's a reason there's so many mental health problems everywhere.
Right. We kind of feed into it. Don't we?
People just don't want to distinguish between reality and what they wish was real.
Right.
It's insane. And
Mhm.
now we're in a world where it's like, no, I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but this isn't real. Now we're in a world where it's like, I respect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Whatever you identify as, do you do you, boo, and all that stuff.
Gee willikers.
I mean, at the end of the day, your madness is your madness. But when it starts getting public, it gets out of hand. Like if you're wearing the headset
Yeah.
and you're walking down the stairs, the Vision Pro headset, and all of a sudden it glitches, you fall, you endanger other people, and you're endangering yourself. At that point, it's bad.
I think so. Okay. I vote yes. All right. So you want to do the toss?
Okay, take it away, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
All right.
And now,
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
again,
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
All right, we are back. You're listening to Treasure Coast Forum, and the remaining few minutes we have left, Amira's got
A few things.
yes.
I think I just found out Tucker Carlson's gonna release the Vladimir Putin interview at 6 p.m. So right after the show's over. So after you
Nice.
listen to the World's Best Show, you can go to the second World's Best Show.
There you go. Well done. Okay, good. And the earthquake was 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
Was in the Atlantic Ocean.
TikTok's wrong again.
Yes, and it was 100 miles off the coast.
Yeah.
So, and I guess we saw a video where it was
Mhm.
kind of things were rocking and rolling in Wellington.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, so yeah, I did the constitutional debate
Mm-hmm.
with the BL case.
Yes.
And the judge, we had to argue against the judge instead of another team this time. Because I think they changed the rules. I think the judges knew that they did me
Right.
wrong last time.
Right.
But instead of apologizing to me or
Oh,
doing the
they
right thing in
can't-
the first
they
place,
can't do
let's
it.
secretly just fix it.
Right.
So instead of going against another team and fear that another team would make that mistake,
Right.
it was the kids versus the judge.
Wow.
So we went against the judge. Such a terrifying woman. I was terrified. She was actually the first female judge of Martin County. She was sweet afterwards. It's just when she was in judge mode,
Yeah.
terrifying.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's why she's a judge.
Like she tried tricking us. She tried to invent evidence
Ah.
and tried to trick us. Like it took us a few minutes to realize that she was inventing stuff.
Ah.
But oh my God, like she was ruthless. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I almost cried.
Oh.
It was so good. But Savannah and I won, and we're going to the finals. They haven't really announced the date yet.
Good. So you
Yeah.
didn't lose after all.
No,
Good.
because they fixed it.
They did a do-over.
Yeah.
You got a do-over.
Now I 100% know what
Yeah.
they did was wrong last year.
Well, of course.
Uh-huh.
All right. So Biden, according to Fox News channel, Biden could not recall when he was VP key details of his life during the interviews with the special counsel. And this had to do with the charges that were potentially hanging in front of him for all the boxes of he will so here's I'm going to back up a little bit. Special counsel finds Biden willfully retained classified documents, and he cites his poor memory as the reason why they're not going to prosecute him.
Of course.
So
if you're saying you just admitted that you're not mentally fit to be president, why are you president?
So he did. Well, this is the special counsel. So these are the people that bring charges.
Okay.
So if you cannot, I guess, represent yourself or fully understand
What you did, then why are you president?
But he's okay to be president.
Yeah.
He's just not okay to run his own,
Yeah.
defense.
He's mentally fit to be president, but he's not mentally fit to, talk about what he's done in his life.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very scary. Very scary
Oh my
stuff.
God.
So that's there.
I still can't believe. I'm pretty sure 100 years from now, if we're not all the crap, they're gonna make so many like comedies and satires, and then it'll be like labeled as documentary because it's Joe Biden.
All I can do is shake my head.
That's insane. Like, this is straight out of oh my God, straight out of a 1960s satire.
So even CNN couldn't get away from this. Investigation found Biden's memory was significantly limited. Ouch.
Does he know he's president?
I don't know. I don't know.
He might not
Oftentimes
even know.
he'll say something. He says, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. From whom? If you're the president,
the
who's
real
your-
president, the real boss, the civil servants.
All right, here we go. All right, you're on the air.
The president has no clothes.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Okay?
Yes.
So there is a nursery rhyme about this.
Yeah, the
You
emperor
gotta
has
look
no
it
clothes,
up.
right?
Right.
They talked about the king,
Yes.
but in our case, it's the president has no clothes.
Correct.
And I learned something the other day,
Okay.
and I'll share this with you. Remember his plagiarism problems?
Yes.
And he had to withdraw in the early 80s?
Yes.
Well, guess who was the one person that was totally against him withdrawing?
His
Take
wife.
One guess.
His wife.
Yep,
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Yeah. There it is.
Because honestly,
Mhm.
she knows what's going on
Yeah.
more than anybody.
Yeah. Maybe
My
when he
God.
says I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, maybe it'll be his wife. It could be.
Well,
Who
you know,
knows?
whatever. We get into trouble because
Well-
Kamala, the word salad lady.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yep. And even
Oh,
CNN
God.
can't get away from this, Charlie. Conservative
I know,
justices
I know.
signaled
I'm
that-
gonna.
Yeah.
I'll get off the phone. I'll be good. I promise.
Okay,
I
buddy.
promise, Frank.
Thanks for the
Okay.
call. All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
You know Patrick Chapat? Have you heard of him?
No.
My favorite political cartoonist. He makes so many wonderful, like really fun political cartoons and all sorts of cartoons that are just so funny. And he did the president has no clothes.
Mhm.
Like literally, he did that. So that just reminded me.
Wow. Okay. Chief Justice Roberts and the court were skeptical of the arguments to keep Trump off the ballot. And there are a few takeaways. If you want more information on that, you can go to CNN for more stuff on that. But conservative justices signaled that they would side with Trump on this historic case. This is the one.
Yeah,
Colorado.
they should.
Right.
It'll be insane. And then even the stuff he's charged with, he didn't single-handedly do the Capitol riot. Like he didn't even
No.
endorse it. He said, "Don't do
He
it."
wasn't charged. he wasn't charged with insurrection. So this is the problem. This is that precog thing.
Yeah, is this the precog thing? He wasn't charged with
He
that. was he?
wasn't charged nor convicted,
Uh-huh.
yet the Supreme Court of Colorado cited, was it Article 3? No,
I wouldn't know.
I forget. They suppressed. Article 4, maybe. I think it's Article 4, Section 3 of the which said that for the insurrection clause. Okay, the problem is he wasn't indicted nor convicted of insurrection.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's to be off the table.
Yeah.
Insurrection is not. Yeah. So.
But then everyone says he's guilty of insurrection.
Well,
for some reason.
Everyone says it because it's almost like a meme.
I know.
There's no
at this point.
There's no logic to that. And let's see now. Also, so Newsmax says the same thing about Biden. Israeli forces intensify the strikes on the Gaza border, the city of Rafah, and so that's going on right now. And Mark Lauder says the border security bill is bad legislation. So that bill died yesterday in Congress. And so they tied our border security with aid to Ukraine and aid to Israel.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
So now they're going to try to pass the bills for aid to those respective countries separately. They thought if they can...
they wanted to kill two birds with one stone or something like that?
Well, so the Republicans wanted more... They wanted more... concessions from the Biden administration, so that it's not that they didn't want to give aid to Ukraine or Israel, but what they didn't want to keep doing is writing these blank checks while in the meantime our border is wide open and we're not addressing it.
I know.
So they wanted the government to address these issues at home
at first.
Let's address these issues at home. At the same time, we're okay with supporting. Right. Couldn't make that happen. So,
oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah.
They literally made a compromise.
Yeah.
And they were ignored.
Couldn't make it happen. So,
of course. Yeah. Nothing constructive can ever happen in the Senate.
All right. Well, we're out of here. We got to go. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Listening. Bye-bye.